Hey, this is Ed, former Hells Angel, California, and I'm chatting with Staxx.
Welcome to this episode of Chatting with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today I got former 1%er Ed.
And we make it to my buddy's house, and we just have a good time. And we started watching some old videos of me and him and some friends and stuff like that. And I guess that fulfilled that requirement. And then we go back to the bars, over by the clubhouse, and we actually like the member I was with. He liked to smoke. He was a big pothead. So
Yeah.
I got to find him. And it wasn't legal in PA back then. I don't even know if it is yet now. So I'm like, now I got to find some pot. Well, I start talking to these couple frat kids, and they're like, they got a keg of beer, and they're like, hey man, you guys want to come back and party with us? I'm like, yeah, somebody got some smoke. And he's like, yeah, back there. I was like, hey, let's go. We're going with these guys, So we went and party with this fraternity, and they were just stoked. Like they're like, yeah, we're partying with Hells Angels, and we just had a good time. And then it was a week later is when I got my patch, my full patch.
When you went to Tommy's funeral, it was really cold that day, right?
Oh yeah, it's cold. Like I said, it's a blizzard.
Did you meet Repo?
I met all the guys. I mean, after I made member, I came back because like they didn't know it at the time. I was starting to think, man, because I've been thinking about moving back home for a couple of years. I was like, but there was nowhere to move to. We didn't have a charter there yet, but that they started that. So I came home one or two times, and I was actually at their church. That's how I reminded Repo who I was. So we knew each other and stuff, but I said, hey, remember, I said, that one church, I said, when you guys first got your side rockers, your Philly side rockers, I was at that church. He's like, oh, yeah. So they're sitting there talking, they're going around, their president or vice president opens up the pack and says, hey, side rockers. He's like, who didn't get one? So I raised my hand, I was only kidding. He's like, oh, here you go. I was like, cool, man. So I was like,
what did your guys think when you went back to the West Coast with a Philly side rocker? What they think of it?
I don't care. You can wear whatever you want. I mean, well, to an extent, because actually our side rockers for our side, Riverside County was a chapter, but we shortened it to our side, and it's been changed. It was like a R and then like an apostrophe, but it's like a small lightning bolt, and then the S was a big lightning bolt, and then IDE, so it was like our side. So technically, they weren't lightning bolts, what I mean, like two of the same size together. And we had one of the German brothers approve it, because he did those studies, and because they have issues over there. You can't wear certain things, or government doesn't allow them to wear any like swastikas and stuff like that, and the lightning bolts and stuff. So our side rocker was short lived.
Oh, so now they took that out.
The apostrophes now, I think, is just an apostrophe and not the little lightning bolt apostrophe like we had.
That's crazy. And so it dictates from another country on what happens here.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, it's all about. I mean, they vote on everything. That's something that when you make memory, you realize how not fun it can be with all that politics. They vote on everything, but what are you gonna do? I mean, I don't see why we should not be allowed to wear it over here. I'd say if we're going to Germany, don't wear it for their sake or your sake, because you'll get arrested for wearing it over there.
So what's it like to deal with these different personalities in the club?
It's like dealing with different personalities at a job, even, or when you're going through school, you kind of learn who you can trust and who to avoid and who you love hanging out with, and you get some of those guys, and they go to some of them parties and they get all hopped up on them big balloons and stuff. I know you've heard about that. I'm sure you'll.
Yeah.
Some of those charters were crazy with that. And others said, "I'll never forget. I did this. I just remembered this. You remember those when you were a little kid? They had those big animals, the little animals. And you blow them up to a big balloon, but it's like a giraffe or elephant, and then so it has like legs and a trunk sticking out, but it's still a big balloon." I took one of them to one of the parties to get filled up. I'm here sitting there huffing out of like a big giant elephant.
All that is nitrous, right? It's nitrous.
Yeah, yeah.
I remember doing that in high school with the cracker and all that.
Like I did it a couple times and I didn't like it. And you hit that in your head just like, and you're like, yeah, why do you like this? But they sit there and just do it and do it all night long. Some of those guys.
Members are doing that.
Oh yeah, and then some. I mean, you just go to the show, like some of the events, and they'll be selling them off. You know, like hey, so anybody that's at the party can, hey, here's $5, give me a balloon. You know, like crazy. Like
That's crazy because you would think that it would be a reputation thing because you wouldn't want to see a member holding a balloon doing that, right?
they do it. I'm sure. I'm sure you've seen it. Yeah, it's just. Some of the guys loved it.
Yeah, that's crazy. So, what's it like to ride in formation with your brother?
Oh wow. Well, like I said, when I first seen those guys, some of the guys out there, the way they rode, and I wanted to learn to ride like that. And you don't have a choice; you got to ride like that when you're in the guys. And there's your minimum 85 miles per hour, minimum. That's it. That's cruising speed is 85 miles per hour, no matter what. And you're nuts to butts. I mean, you're right on each other's ass, and you don't you got to be able to react. And whoever's like, I'll never forget the first time in the pack, and like like when you're a prospect because you're in the back, so you don't know what's really going on up front. You see everybody going, so you have a little bit of time to react. But when you're like that guy next to the leader or right behind them, and you're going 85, 90 miles an hour, and then there's your exit 10 feet away, and they go, you got to get over instantly, and it's crazy, like, but you get so used to it, it's normal then. It's normal.
And did you see any crazy things happen while you're riding back?
Oh yeah, I remember one time we were going on a trip up north, and it was I think I don't know Freeway 5 maybe, and it was traffic was bad. Well, here's this pack. There's probably about 30 or 40 of us going, and when you see a pack of Hell's Angels going by, people are gonna want to look. Next thing you know, right next to me, cars, because they're just staring at us and not paying attention to stop traffic. You see like three of them smash into each other. You're like, these guys, and luckily they didn't cut into the pack or nothing.
You guys are just hauling ass, right?
Oh yeah, you're just now it's just yeah, it's nuts. You go back and think about it now. It's like ride like that, like whew.
As your time goes on, how do you end up parting ways from the club?
Well, that's a funny thing is I wound up taking a job overseas, and it was like I was just getting into the industry I'm at now. So it was like my maybe third job. The other two or three were like local there, so it was no big deal. So I basically had to go and ask permission. Hey, I want to take this opportunity. And I'm gonna have to be away for a month or two at a time. So that was a big deal. Because you got your brotherhood and stuff. So I went and asked them about that, and they said we'll let you know next meeting. We'll all talk about it, or whatever. And next thing they say, yeah, you can go. That's cool. It's like all right. They just asked I paid extra dues or something like that to help out because I'll be making good money. Yeah, no problem.
And how long are you a member at this point?
Probably just about 5 years, 4 to 5 years. So I was one of those guys. Like I never missed anything. I went everywhere. Like everywhere. I mean, they could have said no, but really, you want to tell your brother no? You don't want to give this great opportunity, to go, and I'd keep in touch, and when I come home, and I'd be like, hey, what's going on? Where are we getting together? What's when's this? When's that? Because it was all right in the beginning, and then it just started to become games. It was like you trying to call them up and they wouldn't answer their phone, or they'd be like, well, we might be doing this, but when we might be doing that. Well, which is it? And they expect me to try to figure out where to find them. And it's not like, hey, we might be at this bar, that bar, or we might be in Arizona at this clubhouse, or we might be going up to Frisco to this clubhouse, or we might be going up to Vegas. You know what I mean? So I was like, I can't go. I can't just start trying to figure like it just got stoppage, and that's when I started reflecting. And I was like, man, like that's how you're gonna treat me, And then on top of it, they had this guy prospecting, and I didn't like him. I didn't like him at all. And he had money. And one of the big things is you don't buy your way into the club. And I feel that that's what happened with this guy. And like the whole time I was gone, he was out buying everything for the guys, treating them to everything. And right, you know, I was overseas there. It's probably a good 8-10 months I'm over there. And then I get the phone call that they just made this guy member. I'm like, really? He just made member? I said, I didn't vote on him. And they gave me this bull reason. Well, you're overseas. I said, I don't care. I'm still an active member. Active members have every right to vote. You know, if you're in prison, you lose that right almost all the time. And
So if you're just in prison, you lose the right to be involved.
yeah, yeah. So I was pissed, and I felt like it was a slap in the face, And here I am paying like double dues, and then double triple assessments for some of the other guys that apparently can't find a job and pay their way a little bit. I find helping them out; they need the help, but I was making good money, and like all right, And then I get treated like that, and it just got worse and worse. And I was always kind of the outsider anyway, because I was from the East Coast, and I didn't grow up with any of those guys, and I didn't know the same people they knew. So it was tough to get in, and I did it. But I always felt like I was the outsider, and and then after that, I just like, what, this is bull. So my next trip coming home is my last trip over there. I'm trying to call them up, and they're just not answering. They're saying they're gonna, they might be here, they might be there. And I said, you know what? I'm going down to the clubhouse, and I'll see what's up. I gathered up all my crap. I go down to the clubhouse. There's nobody there. All right, fine. Threw all the shit in the locker, left the keys, locked the door, and walked out. And that was it. Walked away.
Wow.
Yep.
Did they ever call you after that or anything?
Yeah, it was about, I'd say probably 2 months later. And I might have got one or two emails asking for, well, where's this or where's that stuff? Where's this stuff? You know what I mean? It's like, and it's all there. Or I probably gave it to them. Or like, there's one or when new members make it, you always want to give them a gift. So, and I wasn't a jewelry guy, so I'd give the necklace to this guy or a ring to this guy because I didn't wear the jewelry and stuff or whatever. So they're, where's this? Where's this? And I'd be like, hey, I gave it to so and so and so and so. And like 2 months later, I get a phone call from this new member that basically bought his way in the club. And he calls me up. He's like, hey, you need to give us your bike.